Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at 10 things to know about Resident Evil RE-verse. The latest multiplayer Resident Evil game is here, and it may not be what you expect. Have you tried RE-verse for yourself yet? Let us know down in the comments, and I will see you there.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Name of the game. Yeah, the game's title isn't very communicative on what the idea behind the game is, at least in our eyes. There's probably some weird underlying meaning, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. But RE-verse is essentially an arena shooter with the controls of modern Resident Evil games. You and 5 other players run around a map as humans and collect virus canisters while eliminating each other. Upon death, you will immediately resurrect as one of 6 creatures depending on how many canisters you nabbed. The player with the most points in the end wins the match. The humans. Before you begin searching for a game, you will be given the option to start as one of 6 playable humans. Each comes with their own stats and abilities to help give you the edge in a fight. Leon comes packing with a shotgun and can briefly dual-wield pistols and even roundhouse kick opponents just as he does in Resident Evil 4. Chris can dish out more damage to creatures the lower his health gets, and can briefly make himself immune to getting stunned or knocked down. On top of that, he has a wicked punch that is reminiscent of the boulder punching scene from RE5. Jill comes equipped with landmines and the hot dogger dagger, and gains a temporary damage boost after dodge rolling. Claire gets access to some quick healing and a shock grenade to electrocute and halt opponents in their place. Ada makes herself hard to kill with acrobatic abilities and stamina recovery, and Hunk turns blue and can stab fools. That's pretty much what he does. The creatures. Playing as a specific creature will ultimately depend on how many canisters you collect before dying as a human. Collect 2 canisters, and you will respawn as either the Super Tyrant or Nemesis, the 2 beefy beasts from RE2 and RE3 respectively, who can help you regain the lead with their massive amount of health and high damage output. Collect only 1 canister, and you will spawn in as Jack Baker or a Hunter Gamma. Both can deal a moderate amount of damage and can be a challenge to bring down, but if you fail to collect any canisters before death, you'll spawn as the Dopey Fat Molded, a slow mutant that flails its limbs around like a pathetic puppet. Just keep in mind, when you're playing as a creature, your health will slowly deteriorate the longer you go. Same Resident Evil, different skin. As we mentioned earlier, Resident Evil RE-verse plays like an arena shooter, but with the controls of a modern Resident Evil game. There is a small bit of clunkiness in the way humans move, but it isn't enough to make it cumbersome. Dodge rolling feels less janky than it did in the Resident Evil 3 remake, and weapon swapping is done through the use of the D-pad, with the left and right buttons being tied to your standard weapons, while up and down are reserved for the special weapons you can pick up on the battlefield. So, it shouldn't take much time for you to get a grasp on how things work. Maps. At the time of launch, RE-verse unfortunately does not have a sizable map selection. Not counting the playground, which is used as a practice range, there are only 2 maps for you to play in, RPD and the Baker House. Both maps are relatively small compared to the size of maps in other multiplayer shooters, but they give enough space for players to explore and flank opponents. Still, we have to wonder why there aren't any other notable locations from the games. Where is Spencer Mansion? What about Castle Dimitrescu? Or Valdalobos from RE4? There is 1 new map planned in one of the 3 future updates, but that's it. Hopefully Capcom plans to support the title beyond those 3 updates. Really, there are more locations that need to be added to this game. Customization. Resident Evil RE-verse does give you some customization options for each character. However, it is not all just skins, and the emotes aren't outside of what you would see in Resident Evil. Don't expect to see Jill dabbing or Leon flossing. Thank God, we don't need to see that. On top of cosmetics, you can equip coins to your character to increase their stats. You get 4 slots for humans and 3 for creatures, so choose wisely and consider your character's base stats. Battle Pass. Yes, there is already a Battle Pass system in place for RE-verse, but in our time with the game in early access, we didn't feel it was egregious. You are given a set of 9 challenges to complete, one of the 9 granting you more XP than the rest. And just like most online games, the Battle Pass will unlock more customization options for your humans, whether it be skins, coins, or emotes. The only downside to it was it felt slow to register challenges when we completed a match or 2 ago. So you might have to be patient. Just sit back and play matches until the game tells you a challenge has been fulfilled. Matchmaking. Surprisingly, Resident Evil RE-verse is doing something a little bit different than other online games. Many online games choose to hide matchmaking ratings, or MMR, from the players. RE-verse is completely transparent and even shows you how it's calculating your MMR. At the end of a match, it will show you what parts of the match are adding to or subtracting from your MMR. Just remember that this does not inherently define your skill. Everyone has good days and bad days. And if you want to play with your friends, unfortunately there is no party system. You will have to play passcode matches if you want to play with your friends and only your friends, but there is a trick to rig the standard matchmaking. You and your friends will have to enter standard matchmaking at roughly the same time in order to get the system to pair you up. That's how me and Spazbo4 managed to do it, and it succeeded almost every single time. Netcode. Now, the biggest problem RE-verse faces is the netcode. During my time in early access, RE-verse showed it was running on something far worse than whatever spaghetti code it originally had. Input latency is very noticeable, and the lag can cause a conflict of information. What exactly killed me? Why are my hits not registering even when it shows that they connected? It's quite a mess. And when RE-verse works, the game is fun, but when the lag hits, it hits hard. And another caveat to keep in mind, please turn off crossplay. We actually found our time with crossplay enabled far worse than when we had it off. Launch. Resident Evil RE-verse will be out by the time you see this video, and it will be available on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series XS. If you already own Resident Evil Village, then Resident Evil RE-verse will be yours at no extra cost. For those who do not own Village, but are interested in RE-verse, you can buy the game by itself for $29.99 USD. As we mentioned earlier, 3 updates are planned for the future that will add 3 new humans, a creature, a map, and 17 costumes. If you and your friends are looking for a goofy shooter to play for a few nights, RE-verse might be worth checking out. We only hope Capcom can get the netcode working properly before the player count dips. And also show a little bit of a stronger post-launch support, please.
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.